I'm getting ready to cook some chicken. So after I clean the chicken, take my time and I I season the chicken. And one of the important ingredients that I put in along with this with my seasoning is this one here. So and when I come to this, I think about Matthew 5. In Matthew 5, Jesus says to us that you are the salt of the earth. That's a pretty strong statement, a pretty strong declaration, because we understand what salt is. And so salt is something that preserves. So back in the day, for example, certainly in Jesus' day, maybe in your grandparents' day, they didn't have fridges like we have now. And so what they would do is apply salt onto the meat. They couldn't open the fridge and put the meat in the freezer. They couldn't do that. Didn't have that. So they apply salt to the meat. And the salt would preserve the meat. And for generations, they did that. So we know that salt preserves. But another thing that salt did is that it brings flavor because salt seasons things. Salt helps things to taste better. Salt helps things to smell better. And if you've ever cooked something without salt, you probably realize, yeah, because I've tasted rice with no salt and I was able to tell immediately, this rice have no salt, it's not tasting good, right? So salt preserves and salt is a seasoning. And so we notice very importantly in seasoning the chicken that as I apply the seasonings and apply the salt into this, I have to get up close and personal with it. I have to rub it right in. It can't preserve from a distance. Salt cannot do its job from a distance. And one of the things that teaches us, folks, is in our lives, we are the salt of the earth. And being the salt of the earth also means that we are going to preserve, we are going to flavor, we are going to season. But we can't do any of that from a distance. We have to, like the meat, we have to get up close and personal and be rubbed right into it to actually be able to make a difference. And so as I season this meat, I ensure that I get up close and personal with it. I ensure that the seasoning comes into contact with the meat so it can do its job. The question might be, what does that look like in everyday life? What does it look like to be salt? What does it look like to preserve? What does it look like to season? What does it look like to bring flavor? It can look like a number of things. One of the things that it can look like is you don't keep to yourself. You have relationships with people, relationships with your family members, relationships with your neighbors, relationship with people who are co-workers, relationships with people who attend church services like you. So you're up close and personal. You are part of their life. You don't stick by yourself. Another way that can look is that day-to-day living, to be involved in people's lives, for you to involve people in your life. Yeah, I know. We don't want people all up in the business, and yeah, we know that, and we don't want to be nosy in people's business. It's not about that. It's about having relationships with people. It's about sharing your life with people. It's about positioning yourself so that, like the salt, you can be right up in there. You're close. You have a good relationship. You're right there. So when they get into trouble, as they inevitably do, you are right there to help them. You are there with a listening ear. You're there with a ready prayer. This is not about you rebuking them and criticizing how they're living. It's not about that. It's about being there with people and for people. Jesus was up close and personal with people. He was a people person, right? That's the very same thing that we need to do in our lives and in people's lives, to be there. Here's another interesting thing. After I season this meat and all the seasoning, all the salt, all the various ingredients go into, they're there. I'm not just gonna take this and put this on the fire. Oh no, my friend. Oh no. Oh no. What I'm going to do is cover this down. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Yes, we have fridges today. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. And it's gonna sit there for several hours. Why? Because it takes time for the salt and the other seasonings to work into the chicken, to work into the meat, for the flavor to penetrate inside, for it to make a difference, not just on the outside. You can wash that off, but it needs to penetrate the meat. And that takes time. It takes time to get into contact with people. It takes time to build relationships with them when they trust you and they allow you close and they share important things so you can pray for them. It takes time. So be the salt of the earth, be the preservative, be the seasoning, be the flavor. Help them, be there for them. Come into contact with, live up close and personal with them, and see what God does through you and in their lives in Jesus' name. God bless you.